I like the celestial tunes as sort of a soundtrack here. I think it's very soothing. I'll give a shameless advertisement for St. James AME. This is one of the rockinest churches in the state. So we've got some folks here, including Reverend Dr. Saunders, formerly the presiding leader at North Stelton. So great to have you, Dr. Saunders. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, always a pleasure. Reverend Roundtree, thank you for being here. I can't see who else is over there, but thank you all. Just want to say a couple words that for those of you who may not have been upstairs, just to capture a couple of things that we were talking about. Good afternoon, first of all. Sorry to be a few minutes behind. Thank you for coming out and for sticking around. I want to just, as I say, quickly reiterate a couple of things that I said upstairs a few moments ago. First, I think by any measure, we've made significant progress this year to creating a stronger and fairer state and to getting New Jersey back to its basic deal of fundamental fairness. In all we've done, whether it's ensuring equal pay for equal work, providing earned sick leave, safeguarding health care, strengthening our gun laws, standing up for voting rights, opening the doors of an affordable higher education, and restoring NJ Transit, among so many other accomplishments, we're proving that a strong pro-growth, progressive agenda can and in fact does work. Pro-growth and progressive are not at odds with each other. They are consistent and harmonious. Today, New Jersey is squarely pointed in the right direction, and I'm already excited for 2019. I know we can start it by finishing the work to raise the minimum wage and put it on a clear path to $15, and by legalizing adult use marijuana and doing right by the communities hollowed out by the misguided war on drugs. We're ready to aggressively move forward on realizing the great potential of our new economic master plan, especially in our opportunity zones in places like right here in Newark, and making New Jersey the leader once again of the innovation economy. Very exciting announcement by example from Princeton today. As I noted, when we took office, we saw too many families falling behind. We inherited a state that was divided with less opportunity and greater inequality. And blow by blow, we've been knocking down these walls. I'm so proud of what our team has been able to accomplish in these first 11 months. We're not spiking any footballs. We have a long way to go, but we've gotten a lot more done than I ever thought we would. A lot of folks said we couldn't do it, we couldn't succeed. I look at all we've done and can say proudly that they were wrong and we were right. With that, I'll take a few questions. Or none. Michael?
Governor, as we head into 2019, I hope that doesn't bleed into our sound.
Into your feed?
As we head into 2019, there's going to be a lot of pressure on you to hold the line on tax increases. The Assembly Speaker has said he won't support any tax hikes. The Senate President has said we've got to make the state more affordable. What's your position, what's your thinking about whether it's going to be necessary to hike a tax in order to get done what you want to get done?
You know, it's too early to tell, Michael, honestly, because we're still in the early stages. I don't think we give our budget address until now, the first week of March. We moved back a week, so it's too early to tell. But it's not too early to talk about principles, things that we care about. And tax fairness is still on that list. And so I think we have to ask ourselves, is the middle class getting the shake that they deserve? Are the folks who are working poor or in poverty, are they getting the pathway into the middle class that they deserve? Is everybody paying their fair share? Those are questions that I still think are relevant, but it's too early to tell how that all comes out. We've made the first series of investments, some of which I alluded to, in what is a long journey. And we have to have the means to pay for them, and we'll be guided by tax fairness. I also would say, and this takes longer to show proof, we talk about a stronger and fairer economy. It's much easier to point to specific fairness steps that we've taken than it is to the stronger side, which is in process but will take longer. And so the other point I would make is I think everybody would join me, the Speaker, the Senate President, everybody in this state, if we can grow our economy back at a clip that is even average among American states, but maybe even better yet, an average growth rate that looks like our peer states, we'll have a lot more at our disposal to deal with the investments that we know we need to make to rebuild the middle class and the dreams of those who aspire to get into it. So too early to tell for something specific. Please.
You mentioned the phrase "paying their fair share." I know that was sort of like the millionaire stuff. So are you open to pushing new?
I take nothing off the table on December 19th. Again, tax fairness, the middle class's well-being, the dreams of the working poor and those in poverty who dream to get into the working class, those will continue to be our guiding principles while we grow this economy.
So nothing.
Nothing. I don't know why I don't know why I would take anything off the table right now. It doesn't make sense. I would say everything is on the table. Period. Full stop. I'd like to frankly deliver tax relief to certain communities in our state. So it's not just an investment in the middle class. I'd love to have the wherewithal to give them a tax break if it's within our, still balancing our books. So this is not a one-way street, believe me. We have people every single day working on cutting the burden of property taxes, by example. Shared services, which came out in the press in the past couple of days, that's an obsession of ours, as an example. Fully funding public education, when public education is 53% of an average property tax bill, is a step in that direction. So I want to find ways to bring some relief to folks in the state as well. Please. Long time, by the way.
I have one question with a follow-up, please. You referenced how Reverend Slaughter is going to be appointed to the parole board before he is yet to be approved to the parole board, along with many of other people who are appointed to the parole board that yet to be approved. Would you like to comment about why that's so?
I don't know why, but it's frustrating. A guy like that fully deserves it. You go through a process of picking talented people like him, and he's a mega talent. Particularly given his passion for criminal justice reform and reentry. That board is literally uniquely positioned in terms of his passions and its responsibilities. I would be lying if I said I was happy about it. There are too many folks who have been put forward, and I don't see any good reason why they're not getting over the goal line. And we'll continue to persevere, by the way. That's,
My follow-up is you're drinking bottled water. There's been a big controversy here in Newark about lead in the water.
without a label, by the way.
Have you had a glass of tap water recently in Newark? And if offered, would you drink one right now?
100%, and I have, because I have a second office in Newark, and I frequently don't have any bottled water or any other liquids, so I will take something out of the tap in our office there. Yeah, yes. Well, I will say this. I recognize there are challenges, and we're working with Mayor Baraka, who I can't say enough good things about. He needs help, and we're trying to work with him on this. Let me also say it's not just Newark. This is a national problem, and there are a bunch of other cities, communities in the state that have this challenge. So this is something, for instance, we had a meeting with our federal delegation that I called a week ago Monday, I think the top item for our discussion was infrastructure and transportation. Number 2 was lead. What can be done at the federal level to help us with this challenge? But the answer is I'd drink it. Michael. First of all, I love it more than I thought I would. I love the job. It's an extraordinary responsibility with as direct a line between an action you take and an impact on people's lives. It's extraordinary. I've used this example before. I can't remember, Michael, if it was with you, but somebody walking up to me right after we signed the executive order to expand the medical marijuana regime to add more afflictions that would make persons eligible. And a guy who had PTSD came up to me and said, "You just literally changed my life." So I take that momentum, I take that responsibility with gusto, with great humility on the one hand, but with great energy on the other hand. You always learn. I mean, you're always, I make mistakes like anybody else. You're always trying to make your game better. So that's not necessarily 2018 to 2019. I think about what happened Tuesday that I can be better with on Wednesday. That's an iterative process. And I think we're pretty good about looking ourselves in the mirror, being self-critical, asking the tough questions, making ourselves feel uncomfortable. How can you be better? How can you do a better job of this? I'll give you one at NJ Transit. I think our communication, and this is on me, has been lousy. So particularly the past couple of days when there have been lots of trains that didn't show up or were late, I'm really angry about that. I think it's gotten better, but it's not acceptable. And so, you know, I'm frustrated by that. I stand with the commuters on this one. They're upset, and I don't blame them. That's an area where we've got to get better. Please.
We've now heard numerous aides talk about knowing for months about Katie Brennan's allegations, but they didn't tell you. Do you wish that wasn't the case? How do you feel about that? Do you think they should have told you?
I didn't watch minute to minute yesterday by a long shot, so I've read some of your reporting. I watched in passing television screens as I walked by them. I had a full day of sessions. So unlike Katie's original testimony, which I watched every word of, I did not yesterday. I have no reason to believe, I've said this before and I will say it again today, I have no reason to believe that folks operated in any way other than out of respect for their obligations, both ethically, legally, to confidentiality. There's no evidence that they did otherwise. Having said that, it's part of the reason why we stood up 3 tracks of investigation, of review, of reflection. So Peter Venero investigating what the heck happened. That's still to, you know, I hope it's sooner than later, but we still haven't seen that. Secondly, Mamta Patel, the chief EEO officer. Okay, they may have been operating properly under their obligations, but we should be reviewing what the policies and procedures are that inform those obligations. And thirdly, so we also I'm anxious to see what that looks like. And lastly, the Attorney General has already come out with his more holistic societal review of how New Jersey, for the awful reality of a survivor of a sexual crime or assault, how can New Jersey be the best in class in America for that survivor? And hold on, I'm not finished. That process is finished. And I'll leave it there. I want to wait till these processes come to conclusion. Obviously, I'm sick to my stomach the minute I heard what had happened. Please.
You mentioned the policies and procedures.
Yes.
Going forward, how do you see this as shaping future policy and procedures? Because I think we all sat there yesterday, and I mean, I can speak for myself.
Yep.
Like, how
Yep.
do people not talk to each other, and you understand the logic behind it?
Yep.
But at some point, you have to say, logic aside, this is going on. This
Yep.
is really messed up.
Yep.
We gotta figure it out.
I couldn't agree with you more. That's why we're doing what we're doing. So it's a little bit, I said this, I think last week, that I feel like I'm 80% through a test. We're probably 90%. I'm not sure when these 2 studies will come out. But it does run into serious questions that we have to grapple with, like confidentiality, which in the overwhelming amount of cases you would think folks would want and would respect. That's obviously something that's pregnant in this. Another one would be, and I've said this before, if you did something before you got into state government, apparently there's a brick wall up on that. I'm not sure that's right. So those are some open items, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with, and then we'll figure out where we go from there. Please.
Governor, I have a follow-up also. Katie Brennan sent you an email, and you replied you were on it. What exactly did that mean, and what did you think she was talking about?
I had no idea what she was talking about. She said, and I've answered this question a bunch, so I'm going to give you a shorter answer than normal because I've answered it now for a month and a half. She sent that to me. She said it was a campaign-related matter. I immediately forwarded to both our chief counsel and the chief counsel for the campaign. I was reminded, I believe, by my chief counsel that, you know what, you, both myself and the First Lady, in pre-campaign, campaign transition as governor, we are accessible, uber accessible. And I was reminded we have professionals and policies that are in place that deal with folks, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. And that's what I meant.
So, Governor, if I could, so your answer seems to imply that you knew what she was talking about. And in context now,
I did not know what she was talking about, period. Please.
does that, do you think?
Next question, please.
I'm going to say to marijuana legalization.
No problem.
Where are we on that? And the fact that New York is starting to talk about that.
Yep.
And moves on that. And Governor Cuomo
Yep.
stepped up his efforts over
Yep.
there. How does that play into
So I wish him well, God bless him, and what New York does, it has no bearing on what we're going to do in New Jersey. Our job is to do it right. We had a good, and social justice, as I said from the pulpit, is the driving factor for me. So we have the widest white, non-white gap of persons incarcerated in America, and it's not the only reason, but the biggest reason is low-end drug possession crimes. We had a good, we're not there yet. I don't want anyone to think we're there yet. We had a good meeting with the leadership less than a week ago. I can't recall. It was last Thursday, I guess, on minimum wage, where we made progress, but we're not there yet. We did make progress, which was encouraging. We mostly aired out viewpoints on adult use. I would hope we can get to common ground sooner than later. It's overwhelmingly supported in the state, and I would hope we can get there. But New York doesn't really impact us here. I don't. As I say, I hope sooner than later. Please.
Governor, I wanted to follow up on the meeting last week. In general, you've had a year working with these two legislative leaders. In addition to those two issues you just talked about, next year there's a new budget on the horizon, redoing the tax incentive program. Can you talk about your working relationship with the legislative leaders and where you think it's going in the new year?
I hope it goes in a good direction. It's professional. We had a if you all were in the room, you would have been struck by how professional it was. Even when we were disagreeing, we weren't disagreeable. And I hope we're going to be able to continue to find common ground. I have signed, and the tally is running, and we got a bunch of bills yesterday, so this is too early. I'm glad you haven't asked me about bills that I got yesterday because we haven't read them and gotten deep into them yet. But we're on the verge of breaking a multi-decade, if not all-time record for first-year governor bill signings. So the fact of the matter is we have found common ground consistently, and that's evidence of that. We had what I thought was a very good budget. It wasn't easy. It wasn't fun at times. We didn't get everything we wanted, but we got a whole lot of it. Are we going to have disagreements? You betcha. Are we going to be bashful about them? We will not be. So this redistricting proposal, I was not buying that from moment one, and I was not bashful about it. And that's not common ground for me. I've said over the past couple of weeks, if somebody's got ideas for redistricting that make it less political, more transparent, more inclusive, count me in. That went the opposite direction. So I think it depends on what it is. All of us want to, I think we're all products of the middle class, the three of us. We're Democrats. I know I'm a Democratic, I represent the Democratic wing of the Democratic Party, and I'm proud of that. But we should be able to continue to find common ground, and I would expect we will in 2019. By the way, this is not the last time, if you're interested, that we're going to see each other. Have we put on the books tomorrow yet?
We can right now.
We're going to do it right now. We are going to sign this just in. We're going to sign the comprehensive New Jersey transit reform bills that went through on Monday. That is one bill I will talk about, not in detail now, but we're going to sign that in Summit tomorrow. Any idea when? 10:30 tomorrow morning, and we'll have a few minutes for more questions after that. Does that sound okay? Now, as I said, I'm not going to get into it today, but that's going to be a teaser for you to come tomorrow, and you'll hear everything you need to know about it. Thank you all so much for coming out today. I appreciate it.
We enjoyed the Gene